So today I'm coming to you guys to talk about my red Maranta prayer plant because she was a gift and I'm going to turn her into a thriving, luscious beauty. Okay, here's how. This is my red Maranta prayer plant and I know that she looks like she's going through it. Let me explain. I am in the process of propagating and I am using a couple of techniques that I really want to show you guys because they are extremely amazing and beneficial to, a beginning houseplant enthusiast. I am basically running an experiment, but not really an experiment. These are tried and true, of propagating a red Maranta prayer plant in a bedroom, or basically in a room that receives, well, actually, I receive a lot of light in my bedroom because I have a really big window. And it's just the one window in my bedroom, but it's huge and I do get a lot of sunlight. But I wanted to show you guys what success I've been having. First of all, look at this new baby leaf. Let's get her in focus. First of all, she didn't even exist a couple of days ago. And ever since I started my propagation journey with this lovely beauty here, she has started producing more leaves. And so I said, I think I should pick up a camera and start sharing a couple tips and tricks so your budding houseplant enthusiasts can start to learn how to propagate a red Maranta and actually yield results for a thriving one, especially if you're starting off with something like this. And she's a beauty. Trust me, this plant has so much possibility. You just got to put in the work. Okay, so when it comes to propagating, I'm actually keeping her in this box, but I'm about to get a larger box because the leaves are, starting to get big. I do keep it in front of my radiator because the radiator helps create a more humid environment and atmosphere when she's inside of her box. Now I'm going to show you what's inside her box. So this is her box. Honestly, I don't have a super fancy setup. I just sit her right in here. I do, a little bit of arrangement when it comes to how I place her. I make sure the leaves are comfortable. These jars are literally candle jars. I just, I had some candles left over. You put them in a double boiler. And by double boiler, I mean literally put a large stainless steel mixing bowl on top of a pot boiling water and put these 3 jars in that stainless steel bowl over the pot of boiling water so I can melt down the remaining wax. And then I put her in this box, and this has been my prop box. Now she's literally been in here 2 days and the results are amazing. I am, like I said, I'm in the process of basically saving and reviving this red Maranta. Red Marantas can be quite finicky. This is actually my first red Maranta, so I don't have that much experience, but I have been reading up and I wanted to bring people along on the journey because a lot of people, when they're starting off with red Marantas, they usually have these really beautiful luscious plants, and you don't really see kind of the finickiness and all the kind of fiddling and all of the fiddling and finessing that you have to do with a red Maranta. Now, I also live in the city. I live in New York City, and that means I don't really live in the best environment for this beautiful gal. So I have to provide that environment for her. I have to create it. One great thing that I can do is put her in a box such as this. This is like a, you can go to a Container Store, a dollar store, any store that sells these kind of storage boxes and get you one. But what I'm super proud of is all of these new, look at this, all of these new leaves that she's starting to give me after like 2 days. There's one, I can't really tell, but there's like another one that's coming out right along here. So you don't have to do much. You don't have to do much to create a prop box. You don't have to get so super freaking fancy when you're starting off. This cost me really truly nothing to make because I just used what I already had. But now that we've gone over this, I want to get into more of the specifics and all the finicky filliness that comes with a red Marantha when you are raising it indoors and you don't live in a tropical environment, which is where these plants are from. Tropical environments that are extremely humid that help keep their soil super nice and moist, which can be kind of difficult to mimic indoors, but there are some things you can do to help you achieve that. When it's time for her to go to bed, basically when it's time for me to go to bed, I put her back in the prop box, close the box up. I need to move my freaking razor box out the way. I also need to tidy the box up. But this just shows you I really use this box like every day. And I'm messing with dirt and stuff. Speaking about dirt, this is the potting mix from Rooted that I have been using in case anybody is interested. I mean, this is a plant video, so you probably are interested. But this is what I've been using. And I'm actually about to update her soil in a bit. I'm also gonna get her a bigger pot, but not quite yet. It's not quite time yet. But when it's time for her to go to bed, I just put her in the box. Boom, no big deal. Move the soil, keep her near the radiator because it's still winter time. It's March, but still break to help create that humid atmosphere and environment. Let's talk about red Maranta plants. Let's talk about the Maranta Red Prayer Plant. Let's talk about all the good things about this plant, baby. Anyway, Miley Cyrus, come see me. Anyway, so let's get into it. The Maranta Red Prayer Plant has a soft, dark green leaf, okay, with feathered, painterly-like centers of light green and red veins. Baby girl, I almost said vines. Red veins. The colorful foliage and slow growth makes this a perfect plant for windowsills, mantles, or shelves that need a splash of color, although I would not suggest you sit her on your windowsill. Just my opinion. The red prayer plant is an easy plant. Place it in a sunny spot, keep its soil damp, and mist its leaves once a week, and it will flourish, or so they say, okay? The red prayer plant gets its name from the way that the leaves fold in the evening because they resemble hands folded in prayer. They are a native to the rainforests of Brazil, and although this houseplant is somewhat tolerant of low light conditions, the prayer plant prefers bright, indirect sunlight and high humidity. This is why I said I would not suggest putting your red Maranta plant on a windowsill. I would place her by a window so she can receive that bright, indirect sunlight. I would not place her on the windowsill right in front of the window. So, a tropical plant native to Brazil, red prayer plant is a popular and attractive houseplant. Its scientific name is something I'm not even going to try to pronounce, but here it is on the screen, which means red veins in Latin. The red veins are in a herringbone pattern, giving rise to another of the plant's names, herringbone plant. In warm climates, it forms a ground cover, while in cooler regions, it's best used as a hanging indoor plant. Okay, see, that's what I said. Place it in indirect sunlight, not sitting right in front of the light. The Marantha plant is a prostrate evergreen species that rises from rhizomes. It grows 12 to 15 inches tall, so that's about 30 to 38 centimeters tall. This beautiful foliage. Yes, it has like extremely beautiful foliage. The beautiful foliage is broadly oval and features 5-inch, about 13 centimeter long olive green leaves with prominent red midribs and veining in a herringbone design. The center of the leaf is a lighter green and the underside are even lighter still. The best thing about this plant is its ability to pray. This is called nastic movement, and it is the plant's response to light. During the day, the leaves are flat, but at night they move upwards as if praying to the heavens. This allows the plant to conserve moisture at night. Prayer plant care isn't difficult, as long as you address its specific needs. As a tropical plant, it has distinct requirements for humidity, temperature, and water. Very important about how you water this plant. Gardeners prize the strikingly beautiful leaves of the Maranta plant. The red prayer plant, again, it is an easy plant. Place it in a sunny spot, keep its soils damp, and mist its leaves once a week, and it'll flourish. Indoor tropical plants add an exotic and lush feel to the home. Red veined prayer plants, Maranta, something scientific, also have another neat attribute: moving leaves. I'm going to keep repeating information because you have to hear it more than once to keep it in your mind. So caring for a red prayer plant requires a very specific atmospheric and cultural conditions for optimal health. A Maranta prayer plant is a fussy, finicky little specimen that will not shrink from letting you know it's every leaf. And trust me, baby, she will be dramatic. Them leaves will turn yellow. They will get crispy. They will do all sorts of things to let you know they are not having it, honey. But child, honestly, I would say the main thing about this plant is keeping its soil moist and keeping it watered. Okay. The Maranta species are tropical and live in understory areas of the forest. So that is why they need to be so moist. They thrive on the understory of the forest. They're getting a lot of water. Rainforests. Think about this. They're getting a whole bunch of water, sucking it up, preserving it, filtering it through. These plants have to be kept moist at all times. You cannot let its soil dry out. This does not mean you need to be watering your plant every day, but you do need to be misting your plant every other day. I am a huge advocate for every day. I don't care. That is a success that I've been experiencing as somebody who lives in a city, in New York City, okay, growing and propagating my plant in a bedroom. And I'm doing this specifically in a bedroom because I know that most people usually start off growing plants in their bedrooms. So I want to keep this experiment true to, life, or true to what I think most people are experiencing. So they need a lot of moist soil, and they still need that shade though. That's why I say indirect light. That's why I think that if you're trying to, dip your toe in the red Maranta game, you should start by growing your plant in a propagation box before you try to sit her out amongst all your other plants. You need to really tend to her finicky needs before you try to just put her on the shelf with all the other girls, okay? She's going to need a proper introduction to you, and you're going to need a proper introduction to her. In cooler temperatures, the plant will refuse to pray. The colors will not be vibrant, and some leaves may even wither, brown, or fall off. Very bright light will also affect the colors of the foliage. A northern window or in the middle of a semi-bright room will provide enough light without reducing the color. You want to keep that beautiful, vibrant red. That's the whole point of having a red Maranta plant. The plant's water needs are very specific, okay? The soil must be consistently wet but never soggy. A moisture meter is, you could say it's an essential part of a red Maranta plant care, but I don't have one. I just think that you need to check the soil of your plant every single day. If you're keeping her in a propagation box, it's even easier for you to kind of control the moisture and the temp within that box. But basically, just check the soil every day. Put your finger in the soil, see if it's moist. If it feels like it's soggy, take her out the box, let her kind of air out a little bit, and then put her back in the propagation box. You can also fertilize with diluted, and I would say heavily diluted houseplant food in the spring. So I want to say that pruning is almost somewhat highly encouraged with red Maranta plants because they are very finicky, just because of the species they belong to is a quite finicky one. So If you want to encourage more vigorous growth, you can prune your prayer plant, okay? Use a sterilized pair of garden scissors and clip the stem right above the leaf node. The prayer plant will respond by sending out new shoots directly below the cut area, making for a bushier appearance. You can prune your prayer plant to encourage fuller, more vigorous growth. Use a sterilized pair of sharp scissors or garden shears to clip the stems right above the leaf node. The plant will grow new shoots directly below the cut area, making for a bushier appearance. I repeated that because I want you guys to really listen to that, okay? You need to make sure you're using the correct kind of scissors or the correct kind of gardening shears. Don't just be cutting your girl up all willy-nilly with anything, because you will harm your plant. Keep the soil, again, consistently moist when your prayer plant is actively growing in the spring and summer, but you do want to reduce that water from fall through late winter. Your prayer plant does not like its soil to be too wet or too dry. Like I said, no soggy soil. When watering, use lukewarm water and make sure the soil is all that you're watering. Don't water the leaves, okay? Water sitting on the leaves can cause leaf spot bacteria, and you don't want that. Your plant will grow well in temperature between 68 and 85 degrees during the day and above 55 degrees at night. So keep it away from drafts, especially during the winter months. You know, because I live in the city and I live in New York, during the winter months, I like to keep the propagation box right next to the radiator. That helps me control the humidity within the propagation box, and it helps keep her happy. What was I going to say? Yeah, you want to use high quality water. So here's the thing. Red Maranta plants are super, super finicky. That water needs to be of high quality. If you don't have, what are they called? If you don't have like a filter, a water filtration system, that's okay. Just run your tap water for about 2 or 3 minutes before you collect it in a cup or a jar, whatever you're going to use your watering vessel, and let the water sit overnight. That'll help clear out that chlorine and all the other little things they put in tap water that your plant really can't take and shouldn't be taking in all at once. So run your tap water for about 2-3 minutes, get your vessel, collect your water, let that water sit out overnight, then water your Marantha. So if you're like just got one, she's fresh, I would just say use bottled water for that first, day or 2 or week. I used Essentia. I don't know if the brand matters, but that's what I used. And then, after your tap water has had a chance to sit out overnight, start using your tap water. And then when you can, level it up and get you a water filtration system, you do that. But again, don't feel like you have to do that automatically. I think people feel like they have to get the fanciest of materials, a humidifier, and this and that and the third to make their plant prosper. Those are all things that, of course, a humidifier and of course a water filtration system and all those things will help your plant grow and thrive even more. But those things cost money and they can be quite expensive. They can also be inexpensive, but they still cost money. So if you don't have the means to do that right now, but you have a red Maranta prayer plant, that's fine. Just use the tip of letting the water sit out overnight. So some of the chemicals and things can just kind of like evaporate off. What you want to do though, if you start to see problems, is you want to address them as quickly as possible. So honestly, the way I like to actually water my plants, I like to bottom water or soak water my plant or root water my plant. It's a lot of ways that you can talk about this. Basically, you want to place your plant in your sink or your tub without the saucer for the bottom of the, what's it called? What are they called again? Plant pots. Without that saucer. Or you don't have to do it like that. I actually just place her in a bowl. Like I'm saying, it doesn't gotta be that deep. I just place her in a bowl and pour water in the bowl and just let her sit in the bowl for about, an hour and take her out the bowl and put her back in her box. Sometimes when I don't feel like putting her in the bowl, I just pour water in the propagation box and just let her suck it up. And then if there's any excess, I kind of just pour that out and just, wipe down the propagation box. I place back in those 3 vessels of water that you all saw, and I just kind of let her chill out. Just make sure that it's evenly damp, and your plant will show you like tons of signs when she needs a little more attention, like her leaves are curling, or she's starting to get spots, or they're yellowing. But don't be like, so when a leaf on a red Marantha is just like getting older, it'll yellow out. So don't be so concerned. Get more concerned if it's getting yellow and it's starting to curl up. That's when you should be like, we might have to address you, sweetie boo. But all in all you need to remember is that your prayer plant is a tropical plant, so it will thrive in a more humid environment. Increase the humidity around your plant by misting the leaves on a regular basis, using a pebble tray, or moving a humidifier nearby. Or if you have a heater, place her near a heater. Don't place her bare out near a heater. Put her in a propagation box, put a lot of water around her, and then place her in the box with some water near a heater. That will help get the humidity going, and she'll regulate herself out, and you can start controlling that humidity. Sorry. Words can be so strange. Anyway, I really hope that this video was helpful to you all. I'll be back, I guess, next week, every week. I don't know. But I'll be back within 14 to 15 days with an update on her. I don't want to overload you guys and try to do like daily or every 3 days. Nah, I just weekly, bi-weekly updates. So love you guys lots. Thank you so much. We are on a journey of reviving this beauty.